Okay, problem 20. A study of pet owners found the following information concerning the ownership of dogs and cats. Find the critical value for a relationship between the number of people in a family and dog or cat ownership at alpha equals 0.05. Okay, so this is testing a relationship between these two variables, and this is, well, more than two variables, sorry. And this is a contingency table, 2 rows, 4 columns, right? 2 rows by 4 columns, yes? So this is going to be a test for independence. We're looking at the relationship here. So we can show the hypothesis test how this would work out. So step 1, give me the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. Okay. The null hypothesis will say that these categories are independent of each other. Well, let me be more specific. The null hypothesis will say the number of people in the family independent of pet ownership. No relationship, nothing to see here. There's no relationship. The alternative hypothesis would say the number of people in the family is dependent on pet ownership. There is certainly a relationship, is what the alternative hypothesis would say. Okay, so we're trying to determine the critical value here, right? That's what the question is asking for, a critical value. So we know alpha is 0.05. And from the last question, we know degrees of freedom are rows minus 1 times columns minus 1, which will be 2 minus 1 times 4 minus 1. So degrees of freedom be 1 times 3. There are 3 degrees of freedom here, okay? So maybe I shouldn't box that because that's not really an answer, right? That's just 3 degrees of freedom. So I'm going to the chi-square table. 0.05 is alpha, 3 degrees of freedom. All the way to the bottom. 0.05 is alpha, 3 degrees of freedom. 7.815 is that critical value. 7.815. And as I like to do, I draw my little distribution. Chi-squared is right-tailed. I drew it kind of symmetric. It's not that symmetric usually. So 7.815, that's my critical value.